When someone close to you has cancer and starts to talk about it, do you change the subject? Do you stand in silence, worried that you'll say the wrong thing? If so, you're not alone. Many people don't know what to say to a person who has cancer. Marianne Polyologopoulos, licensed independent clinical social worker, and psychologist Dr. Christina Hallett join us with advice. Ladies, it's so nice to have you here. Unfortunately, this is something that many people feel because they have a loved one who has been diagnosed with cancer, and they don't want them to, you don't want to make it feel like a pity party, but you also don't want to feel like you're ignoring the situation. So Dr. Hallett, what should people know when they are talking with someone who's been diagnosed with cancer?
I think that the most important thing that you can keep in mind is that that person is the same person that they've been all along. So all of their interests, their activities, the relationship that you've had with them, that's what remains important. They are a whole person. They have not suddenly become the cancer diagnosis, which means that it really depends on who that person is and what interests they have or how their personality is in terms of whether you're going to be spending more time talking about it or less. You're really guided by them.
So what is something that you can say to them to kind of feel it out? Maybe there's someone who wants to talk about it a lot. They wear their heart on their sleeve. They're very open. Or there's someone who doesn't want to talk about it at all. How can you know what they would rather?
You know, I think that the easiest thing that you can do is to say, you know, thank you so much for sharing this information with me. And I understand that this is likely a confusing and difficult process. I am so happy to know whatever it is that I can do to be helpful. If you want to talk about it, I'm here to listen. If you don't want to talk about it, I'm here to do whatever else that you want to do. If we tend to go out to the movies, then I want to be the one who's going out to the movies with you. Please do your best to let me know whatever way I can be a support to you.
So be open and honest. Share that with
Absolutely.
them. Now, Marianne, if it's someone that you're really close with and you're going to go and visit them and you sit down, do you start off by saying, how's the treatment going? Or do you kind of try to ignore that? What is the best thing?
I think it's important to take your cues from the loved one.
Because
from
not
your loved one.
everyone's the same.
Absolutely. Right. And just to piggyback on what Dr. Hallett said, is it's important to keep that relationship pre-cancer diagnosis. So if you would normally go over there and sit with them and talk about your kids or talk about your job or talk about the weather, that's fine. If you get the feeling that it's okay to talk about their cancer treatment, then it's fine to say, how are you feeling? Is there anything that I can do for you? Can I cook you a meal? Can I go to a doctor's visit with you? Or can I just sit here with you and keep you company?
So it's just something as simple as, I'm here, but you don't have to talk about it unless they want to.
And keep it natural.
Right.
Absolutely.
Keep it natural.
And you don't, right, because you don't want it to feel like that your relationship has changed just because now they're going through something difficult like this.
Exactly. And I think you're not making assumptions about this is what they should do, this is what they should say, this is what you should do or you should say. You're in a relationship with someone, and so what you're doing is you're speaking in a natural and caring way about your relationship and from your relationship. That's going to come across. So you can't really say something wrong as long as you're speaking from your heart.
Exactly. And I think another difficult situation for people is if they don't know someone very well, or it's a professional relationship or a coworker, and they tell you, you know, I've recently been diagnosed with cancer. A lot of people feel uncomfortable. They don't know how to react. Do they say, oh, I'm so sorry? Or how can someone react in a way that is helpful without being too, you know, having it be like a pity party?
We were just having that conversation and just commenting on how these days it's easier to reach out to somebody, whether it's through a text message or an email, or send them a note and just say, you know, hey, I miss you at work, let me know if there's anything I can do, or just know that I'm here. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a face-to-face visit or a telephone call. It can be another way of communication.
That's true. That's very true. Fortunately, we do have that access.
Well, and I also think acknowledging what the person has said. So it's that same theme of taking your lead from them. So if the person has come up and said, hey, I want you to know I've just been diagnosed with cancer, well, then naturally you're going to say, wow, I'm sorry to hear that. How is that for you? Because you care and you're interested in knowing how that is for them.
Of course.
If someone comes up and they say, listen, I just need to tell you this, but I don't want to talk about it, then you're going to follow that lead and say, okay, let me know.
Another situation is if you hear from someone else, you know, Betty has been diagnosed with cancer, and then you see her. Do you bring it up? Is this something you could say, I heard that, or do you just not? Do you just leave it until she mentions it to you?
But again, I think it depends on the situation
Right.
and where you are, and you know, and taking cues from them and to say, you know, I heard this, and I just want you to know that, you know, I'm sending you good vibes, or I'm here if you need anything.
But it sounds like from what you ladies are saying, as long as it's coming from your heart and you're honest,
Absolutely.
you can't say the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
You
There's no
can't
right or
offend anyone.
wrong
Okay,
answer.
that's wonderful to know. Now you run a support group together.
Yes.
We do.
Support with people who are going through treatment, who have been diagnosed with cancer. Tell us about what you offer for people in our community.
Go ahead.
Oh, so we are associated with Springfield Medical Associates Primary Care Cancer Survivorship Program, and through that program we offer a number of cancer support groups. Right now we're co-facilitating a caregiver group on the third Thursday of each month, along with a blood cancer support group, a breast cancer support group.
It's wonderful that you offer this for
yes,
people.
yeah.
Right.
So
We have
important.
other colleagues who are involved. So
Yes.
the one that we do particularly is the caregiver support group, because one of the things that sometimes we forget is that caregivers need support so that they can continue to be there as a support for that person with cancer.
Of course, that can be extremely wearing, and they need to have that support as well. So it's wonderful that you ladies offer that, and we'll have the information on our website how people can get in touch with you. We also have a phone number that you can write down if you want more information about that. Thank you so much, Dr. Hallett, and
Thanks.
Marianne. It's wonderful to have you both here.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.